there's a lot of flip-flopping going on. We got the crunchies are now on the right. We got the corporatists are now on the left. And Gavin Newsom, in my mind, the leading candidate for president for the Democrats in 2028, even though he burned one of his major cities to the ground and is one of the worst governors in America, still I think he's one of the leading candidates. He just broke with his own party on the issue of transgenderism in sports.
Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. It is an issue of fairness.
So
it's deeply unfair.
Would you speak? A Democrat strategist would say, "Oh, Charlie, you're weaponizing stuff." Not you, but like that's a typical thing. But the most effective ad of this election cycle, the most effective ad, what it is?
Yeah, and devastating. Trump's for you. She's for they, them.
And
devastating.
Devastating. But let's talk about,
she didn't even react to it, which was even more
and let's talk about why it was devastating. Number one, it was the trans issue that was just monopolizing.
And this was even more challenging because there's issues of people that are incarcerated.
And illegal.
Illegal incarcerated individuals getting taxpayer funded.
Yes, and
gender reassessment surgeries. That is a 90-10, not an 80-20.
Right, and then she's like enthusiastically defending it, bragging, being like, I'm all for this, I'm all for this.
And then you had the video that was a validator. Brutal.
Yeah, and so
tens of millions of brutal. The targeted focus from the Trump campaign.
It was brutal. It was devastating. I think it's an issue of fairness. I agree with you. It's deeply unfair to have men in women's sports. Who is this guy? This is Gavin Newsom, right? Gavin Newsom is not a moderate. He sometimes pretends to be a moderate because he looks like Patrick Bateman and he looks like every other normal-looking white guy that's ever been in political office in America. But he's not. He's a radical, including and especially on sexual issues. When he was mayor of San Francisco in 2004, Gavin Newsom defied federal law to redefine marriage and create these ceremonies where two fellas or two ladies that they were being married. This was long before Barack Obama ever came around on gay marriage. This was long before the Obergefell decision. 2004, Barack Obama would campaign 4 years later. Hillary Clinton would campaign 4 years after that, saying marriage is a sacred institution between a man and a woman. Obama wouldn't change his view until 2011, 2012. Obergefell didn't come down redefining marriage until 2015. Gavin Newsom was one of the earliest figures in the country advocating for weird sex stuff at our national scene. Now, all of a sudden, he's the voice of reason on transgenderism. By the way, you heard that voice, that other voice in the conversation. That was Charlie Kirk. But they were not on Charlie Kirk's podcast. That was Gavin Newsom's podcast. Gavin Newsom launches a show, and the first person he invites on is a Republican activist so that he could agree with the Republican activist on an issue that has been defining for Democrats. And what's going on here? Right now, go to stopboxusa.com, use promo code Knowles. For every gun owner that has kids, one of the biggest thoughts that pops into your head is, how do I make sure that my child cannot, under any circumstances, access my firearm? Especially, that's certainly true for me. And I'm not even one of these guys with 1,000 guns in the home, I keep it pretty simple. But I've got a great solution, and that is Stopbox USA. What impresses me so much is that it is completely mechanical. No batteries to die that could leave you high and dry. No electronics to fail when you need it most. I was blown away by how durable and well-crafted this is, all made right here in America. It means that Stopbox is creating meaningful jobs and opportunities for American workers too. Traveling? No problem. It's TSA compliant, so you can securely transport your firearm when you're flying. It turns out TSA is not a fan of people throwing loose firearms into their baggage. Been on some trips. I haven't gotten caught with this myself, but some guys, it's not great. So if the convenience of not fumbling with keys while maintaining security gives you peace of mind, as it would give me peace of mind, then go check it out right now. For a limited time only, my listeners are getting a great deal. Not only do you get 10% off your entire order when you use code Knowles, KNWLAS, at StopboxUSA.com. They're also giving you buy one, get one free for their Stopbox Pro. That is 10% off and a free Stopbox Pro when you use code Knowles at StopboxUSA.com. I got to get on that deal right now because I only have one Stopbox and I got to stock up. Discover a better way to balance security and readiness with Stopbox. Newsom realizes that the Democrats are currently on a path to oblivion. if they keep down this road, they're going to lose more black male voters, they're going to lose more Hispanic voters, they're going to lose more female voters, they're going to get destroyed. I think Gavin Newsom recognizes, and this show comes out after that debacle for the Democrats at Trump's joint session address. I think Newsom realizes that even if he were the nominee in 2028, if he kept to the current Democrat policies on immigration, on maybe even foreign policy, certainly on gender, that he would go down in flames. Now, the one reason that Newsom might not be the nominee, and if he were the nominee, the reason he might not win, is because one of his major cities went down in flames because he was a totally incompetent governor. And in 2018, President Trump warned him, said, hey, you're not dealing with your forests. You're not cleaning up the brush. Your state is going to catch on fire because of those Santa Ana winds. And Newsom said, anyway, never mind. I got to get back to the French Laundry, have a little pâté de foie gras. Come on, man. It's hip to be squared. You like Huey Lewis in the news? And so he totally ignored that, let the city burn to the ground. Looks terrible. Probably his chances went down with him, except for this. Who else is it going to be? He's one of the few prominent Democrats to say, all right, the party has gone a little crazy. Now Newsom is going to have one other problem. And this is a word to the wise for any Democrats who realize that this trans issue is killing them and they have to change course. You can't just oppose transgenderism in sports. That doesn't make any sense. There's no middle ground position. This was the thesis of my CPAC speech that went viral a couple of years ago. Certain issues you can have a middle ground, like taxes or immigration or whatever. Human nature, you can't have a middle ground. Either our bodies have something to do with who we are or they don't. So if you say, look, I accept transgenderism, I accept transing the kids even, I accept men in women's bathrooms, I accept dudes walking around wearing dresses, doing drag queen story hour, but I draw the line at volleyball. Why? You just told him. You've accepted the anthropology that says that a man can be a woman. So then if a man can be a woman, why wouldn't you let that true woman, that true woman with his big broad shoulders and his big Adam's apple and his hairy chest, why won't you let that true woman play volleyball with the other gals? It's not going to hold. So Newsom, he's testing the waters here, trans and women's sports. But I think he's smart enough to realize that he's going to have to go further for that position to be at all coherent. Will the Democrat base let him go further? Not clear. Does the Democrat base want to win elections again? Not clear. What did you be honest? Hey, you can be honest. It's me and you. What did you think of that clip? Did you like it or? Well, good. Then subscribe and ring the bell and you will get more such clips. Then we will continue to meet like this.